Let's see. We'll call this technical difficulties. I don't, I see calls all the time that have these, so I'm not tripping.
Okay, so she said she's out.
All right, so we are technically live. Welcome. Give us a minute, everyone. I'm going to give you.
Hi.
So hold on. We should have a link, and then I'll send that to you. Here we go. All right. Here we go. All right. Copy link, and then I'm sending this to you. And then just give us a couple moments, everyone. This is all of the good stuff that happens when you are trying to do good stuff. All right, and then I'm putting it in Social Girl for God too right now. So just in case you have to grab it from there. All right. All right. So we want to welcome you to tonight's call. Or live. I'm like live. I think I say call because we're on the phone or utilizing phones, but we're actually on Facebook Live. YouTube Live. So I am going to give Brandy some time to invite some people, and I'm just going to give you the backdrop of why we're here. Tonight we're doing Hunker Down Girl, the Hunker Down Girl series. It's something that I've been thinking about a lot during the pandemic. And really thinking about some areas that I really think is important. We were forced to focus on, right? A lot of areas. We had to hunker down, get quiet, learn new hobbies, work on finances, work on cleaning up, decluttering, all that good stuff. And I kept thinking about the Proverbs 31 woman. And I'm like, man, what would she be doing during this time? And so I said, you know what? I really want to talk about hunkering down. And hunkering down, if you don't know, is to hold stubbornly or to seek refuge or to take shelter or to focus, right? In a blizzard, they ask you to hunker down for a few days. And so today we are going to talk to Miss Brandy. I say Miss. I have to say Mrs. Brandy Thompson. Collective. And she's going to give us a good amount of information. You might have to mute your
Yep, I got it.
Okay. So before we get into that, just a little bit about who we are. You have a lot of you are on our page. Some of you are new, but we have Social Girl for God. But before that, we have I Simply Love Her Ministries. And in I Simply Love Her Ministries, we have Simply Pray, where we focus on prayer. Simply Study, where we focus on studying the word, and then Social Girl, where we share all social media and all of those platforms, bringing you back to God. Those are groups on Facebook, and you can get that information in the description of this video once everything is done, or you can subscribe. Please do subscribe and share the content so others can benefit from it too. Also, this month, while we're doing this information session, we have a giveaway. So we're doing the Hunker Down series giveaway, and we're giving away Bible tabs, which are absolutely beautiful from Salt and Charm. I don't know if they're Salt and Charm Ministries, but I've been looking at them for like the last year, and I was like, I want to be a blessing to someone and give those away. So we'll be giving those away on November 20th, but you have to subscribe to our YouTube page, and then you'll be in the drawing on November 20th. And on November 23rd, we'll come back again and do a gratitude call, just talking about everything we're grateful for, even in the midst of all of this. I mean, we've had to hunker down and we're not out of it, right, Brandy? But some people, it seems like, some people are out and some people are in. I'm still in. Not all the way in, but I'm still
Yeah.
in. I'm
Yeah.
being careful and being safe.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think tonight we're going to talk about budgeting, and Brandy's just going to give you a whole lot of information. I've known her for years, but I've just watched her. You never know who's watching what you're doing on social media, and then here
Mm-hmm.
comes a call to, hey, why don't you let's hook up and collab and do some stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that I didn't know about Brandy, and there's more that I still don't know. But what I do know is that she loves the Lord. Well, I can say some stuff, right? I always,
Yes.
I always see her smiling. I know that she's serious about her marriage because do you remember one time we had a conversation about a book? It was a
Mm.
book. Was it called Sacred Hearts?
Was it Sacred? I can't remember what the
I,
title was.
I know it was a book that I was like, oh, I have that book. So yes, I've seen her mother her kids. I've seen her walk and do ministry, and I've seen her on social media join up with me to declutter and work on some
Yes.
things. And I know she's serious about budgeting. So I'm going to get out of the way. Let her talk. We'll ask some questions. You guys, I'm watching questions in the chat room, so you can ask questions at the end, and we'll try to answer those. And I'll get out of the way. Here's Brandon.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Rhonda. I really, really, really appreciate you inviting me on to the series. I really, really think it's so near and dear to my heart because there are so many times when we as a family had to hunker down. So I'm just glad to be a part of the series with you and be able to share our hearts. So my name is Brandy Thompson, and my business is called RnB Collective, and that is for Rodney and Brandy. My husband's name is Rodney, so if you hear me say husband a lot, because that's sorry, you guys, because that's what I call him. That's who I'm referring to, Rodney. So what can I say? I do love the Lord. I am a wife. I am a mom of 4 children. I have a living with me now. I have a 20-year-old, a 17-year-old, and an 8-year-old. And we also have a 22-year-old, and so he is out of the house though. And so I am also an accountant by trade. I work for a nonprofit company that accredits healthcare agencies for in the lane of chaplaincy. So I'm still working for God even on my job. So it's good to be able to be here with you guys tonight. And when I say one of the things that's really near and dear to me is budgeting, is because I started budgeting, I want to say, really over 11 years ago. My journey started with budgeting. I just really needed to get my finances together. I had been laid off from my job. And I was in the real estate industry at that time as an accountant. And when the market fell, one of my position was let go. So I needed to budget on, my severance that I was given, as well as other things. And so during that time, I was out of work for 21 months. And so I also was able to just really hunker down. So this is something that I am not a stranger to. And so in our world, and me and my husband's world, we call it buck down. So, it's buck down season.
Okay.
So fast forward to meeting my husband. We had been married 4 years at the time, and we just weren't able to save any money. We instantly, from me being a family of 2, just me and my son, I was instantly now a family of 6. And we were just new at everything, new at being married, new at just a whole lot of things. So we weren't able to save any money, but God had put in our hearts that we were to take a leap of faith down south to Georgia. And we kept mulling it over. We finally mulled it over and said, we're going to pull the trigger. This is what God said, and we're just going to go ahead and do it. So when we took this leap of faith to move down south to Georgia, like I said, we had been married 4 years. We hadn't been able to save any money. But once we had made up our mind about what we were going to do, we began to plan everything out. We began to set goals. We began to become one another's accountability partner. And, we to do away with bad spending habits, to sacrifice, to track our progress. And in 1 year's time, we were able to save over $10,000. And we took the leap of faith with that money. We moved from everything we knew in South Jersey, Blackwood in the house. And we moved down to Georgia, and thus the Family Life budget was born. And this is our budget that we use. It's the Family Life budget. It's a yearly financial planner that helps us focus in setting our annual financial plans. And we kind of do it financial planning at a 10,000 foot view. And then, very high level, very, very high level. And then it also helps us to set our goals. It helps us to track our savings. It helps us to create a monthly budget, a monthly meal plan. And of course, it helps us to budget our life over a year's time. When we say it helps us to focus, we mean that we face outcomes clearly utilizing a system. And that's what focus means to us. Face outcomes clearly utilizing a system. And that system is our family life budget, So all that we learned and all that we did for that first year of savings, and then 2 years after that, we poured into this financial planner. We, are a family of 6 now. We used to be a family of 7. My husband's father-in-law used to live with us my husband's father used to live with us, my father-in-law. And so we definitely needed to budget our finances on a consistent basis. When you have multiple people, going out to the movies can be a chore, So it just became very natural and easy for us to do it after we set our mind to it. And so with that family life budget, there are several elements to it. We have our savings, our giving, our paying of bills, and tracking expenses. We really try to keep it simple and efficient as possible so that you can accomplish your goals. And we say paycheck to paycheck. A lot of people get a very bad feeling when I say paycheck to paycheck, because people sometimes think that living paycheck to paycheck is an awful way to live. I would like to suggest and turn the tables on that and say, if you budget paycheck to paycheck, then you'll see every dollar. You'll be able to see every dollar. You'll be able to assign every dollar a function and then pull the trigger on where it's going to go.
Right.
Once you have that process down, you can then declutter your expenses. You can trim the fat in your budget. You can analyze your spending habits month over month. You can have it all written down so that you track things at a very detailed level. And we say, it becomes rhythmic, right? So kind of the rhythm that we suggest, the R&B rhythm.
Okay.
Because me and Rodney, we harmonized in this thing right here, right?
Okay.
So the R&B rhythm that we suggest is use our family life budget system to write your vision down and track your progress. That is your financial plan. Your vision is your financial plan.
Right.
once you write that vision down, and that is something that we are very, very clear about. One thing that we did put into this budget when I talk about writing your vision down, every November, and I got this from Pastor, Bishop now, Bishop and Edmondson and Pastor Aisha, right? They poured something into me when they said that they would go away for a time and meet with their leadership team, and they would vision cast.
Right.
And so in November, me and my husband, we do the same thing. We vision cast for the year for our financial plan and what we would like to get accomplished. And so this system, the Family Life Budget, is a system that helps you do that. And so that's the first thing, the rhythm that you're going to need is a system. We hope it's the Family Life Budget. And then you want to track your spending and your expenses during the first month or two of budgeting so that you can build an accurate budget. This is very key. You don't want to have a back of the envelope budget. You want to be able to verify and know where your money is going. And the only way you can do that is by tracking your spending. It's going to take some time to get this down. And that's why I say for the first month or two. So that's about 60 days, because what's going to happen is you're going to see some things in your budget that you didn't see before. Some things that are on automatic payment that you forgot you was paying for. You're going to see some things that you were just swiping and you really don't need. You're going to see some things that you're like, okay, I could actually use the money that I'm spending there somewhere else. So tracking your spending and your expenses is very key to any budget, because it is where you're going to be able to trim the fat, so to speak. Those expenses are where you're going to be able to, take away the spending and add in more income. So that's the hope that you will be able to find money in your budget. That's the hope, right? So that's the second thing. The third thing is you want to set consistent budgeting times that coincide with your paycheck date. So for us, I am paid on a monthly basis. So when you're paid monthly, you better know you better have a budget. Because you're looking at like, oh, when is this going to roll? When's that paycheck going to roll around again? But actually, when you're budgeting, it doesn't feel like a month. So it really helps to be consistent in the time that you're budgeting. My husband is paid on a bi-weekly basis, so we budget on a weekly basis. So every week we budget our funds. We could budget monthly. We could budget every 2 weeks. We could budget semi-monthly, but we choose to do everything on a weekly basis just because of the way that I am paid and the way that he is paid. But you should set a time. And when I say set a time, I mean sit down, open up your planner, your calendar, your phone, the calendar on your phone, and make an appointment with yourself and your budget, and you sit there and you pay your bills. You sit there and you transfer money into savings. You sit there and you transfer your giving or your charity. You sit there and you look at your budget compared to your financial goals. What are you working on this month that money needs to go towards in order to accomplish those goals? So you sit there and you really spend time with yourself and your budget on a regular basis. And it may not be easy at first, but like I'm on my live videos Friday night, just okay, budget in my life. So those are the things that, I'm trying to bring some fun into it, because sometimes when you're hunkering down, it is not an easy budget to deal with.
Not at all.
It's not always easy. It's not always fun. It's not always, the thing that, oh, we got money to go around the whole, and spend here, there, and everywhere. No, sometimes you really don't. And sometimes you're stretching things. And that is why it is important to spend some time with your budget. So when you need to jump in and say, oh, hold on. Let me look at this real close so I can move some things around. You got to make your money moves. Right. So that is why it's important to be intimate with your budget. So when you need to make those money moves, you know what you're doing and you don't get jammed up with those insufficient fund fees. So it's very important. The fourth thing that we say is after you've sat down and you've paid your bills, you're not done. You need to go back and follow through to make sure that those bills have been paid, that the transfers have been completed, and that your goals that you're working on are accomplished. Because sometimes things can be spinning around in banking land, and you're thinking it's paid, and it hasn't come out on this paycheck. And now you're like, okay, I know I budgeted for that, but it still hasn't come out. And maybe you spent the money thinking it was extra income, and it wasn't. So you have to make sure to go back to your budget time and time again and just be the follow through and the accountability that you need for yourself. So the other thing that we say is once you get into this rhythm, it does get easier, but it really takes a mindset. Like you have to be serious about what you're doing. It also takes about, like I said, 90 to 120 days to feel like you are really a budget boss. I mean, you know your income inside and out. You know your expenses inside and out. You have trimmed the fat. You have slayed those expenses down to the bare minimum. You're starting to, pull money out from where you didn't need to have it into some other places, some savings accounts and different things like that. When you're there, don't think that you got it all together. Because, what'd you say?
You can slide right on back.
Listen, you can backslide in a whole minute, okay? You see that thing you want and self-sacrifice goes straight out the window. You're like, oh my gosh, what? I need that right now. Is that in the budget, sis? Is that in the budget? So when we say it for you to be a budget boss, 90 to 120 days, the disclaimer here is this, and I have to put it out there because I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't give y'all the raw truth about budgeting. Consistent efforts in budgeting will yield results that will allow you to abide in your purpose. It will allow you to build a lasting legacy. However, that varies from person to person, because if you are not consistent in budgeting, then you're never going to hit those goals and hit those targets. You have to be consistent. And that's why we say you need a system, not a back of an envelope. You need to track your spending on a regular basis. We have a client who on our page, on our website, she gives her testimony that, tracking her expenses has been the best thing that has happened to her in her budget, because she has found money that she didn't know she even had. Yeah. So we definitely need you to be consistent in your budget. And we have to give the disclaimer because somebody might work harder at it than somebody else. And then they look and say, well, I'm not all the way there. And you know what? We put in our budget, every month we put in a budget check-in. And you check in with your real raw emotions about what's going on with you and your budget, because there are a lot of times where we are tied intimately, emotionally to our finances, right? Right. We spend when we're stressed, or when we feel like, oh my gosh, I need retail therapy to get through this because I can't deal on my own. A new something will help me. Also, we tend to go out more and do, like, more entertaining things when that might not have been in our budget, because we feel like, all right, well, we got it. We can, splurge a little bit. That's not always the case. And so we need to be more zoned in. And I say that because sometimes you have a goal, and if you continue to forego that goal, then you'll never accomplish it. So one of my favorite sayings from The Greatest Showman, the movie, The Greatest Showman, is by P.T. Barnum, is what's waited for tomorrow starts tonight. Like, don't wait for tomorrow, start tonight. You don't have to keep foregoing your goals. Get on a budgeting system and start tonight. So that is the disclaimer that we put out there. The other thing that I have to mention, and I mentioned this to you, Rhonda, and I got to throw it out here. I told you it's like one of our non-negotiables, one of the main components of our family life budget that I must talk about, especially in this pandemic, is our emergency fund tracker. Okay. And I have a sample one here that I did for y'all, so y'all can see what it looked like. Let's see, where's it at? Our emergency fund tracker is basically tracking your emergency funds. Every budget should have one. So I did one here, and it's made of coffee cups. And you just
that's one of my favorite things.
And you color them in as you get to your emergency fund goal, and it keeps it's very nice. It's a nice visual, and you also can write your numbers in on it, and it just helps you to get satisfied in the fact that you have funds in case of an emergency, right? So I was looking at some statistics in this pandemic, and CNBC in September of 2020 said that nearly 14% of Americans have wiped out their emergency fund during the pandemic.
I can't believe it.
Yes, and we're still very much in the thick of it. So if you've already wiped out your emergency fund, then we were sadly not prepared for this pandemic financially. So, but the thing is, we don't really have to stay this way, right?
Right.
We, if we prepare, there are so many fun challenges that we do here at RnB Collective to help people build their emergency funds back up. There are a lot of challenges that we do throughout the year, especially savings challenges, just so that people can find ways to get their emergency funds fully funded. And an emergency fund fully funded, there are two: a starter emergency fund, which is starting at $1,000. It depends on the size of your family and up, and then a fully funded emergency fund is about 6 to 9 months of your monthly nut. Whatever your monthly expenses are, 6 to 9 months of that. So if your monthly expenses are $5,000, 6 months would be $30,000 that you would need to save in the event you're without a job. I mean, we've been in this pandemic for how long? I mean, $30,000 is easy. Yeah. So I had to say that, and then the fun challenges, I had to talk about that. But you tell me if you. I mean, I have some more things to talk about, but do you have any questions?
I do. I have a lot. I was just like, okay, because I told Brandy when we talked, get preparing for this chat, I was like, I want to sit at the table just like you guys. Like, I don't want to hear everything. I want to hear it, like, from the brand new seat. And then I have like all these questions. So you guys are welcome to ask questions in the chat. even in the comments when you see this later. But I have a couple questions. I love how you said budget boss. I was like, okay, budget boss, and then R&B, and I'm always these are my little aha moments. Always got songs going on from like the 90s. So I was like, okay, so that's gonna make me think of you, right? Because I could come out with like a Diana Ross song or like crazy songs all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the questions that I think you talked about a little bit about retail therapy and that check-in. But one of my questions is, you mentioned the word high level. I wanted you just to talk about that a little bit. And then one of my questions, in marriage, we always don't see eye to eye, right? You know, like I feel like we have a I call me and Al peanut butter and jelly. You know what I mean?
Yes.
One of us is more jelly and one of us is more like, you know, peanut butter practical, right?
Yes.
But we've come a long way. And when we get to money, we all view money differently. So I wanted you to talk about some of the challenges that, you know, you guys, like, okay, was it Netflix? Is it, you know, like, what are the things that, ooh, we don't need this anymore? Because that's how we are. Like, I'm like, babe, I remember when I said, babe, we don't need cable anymore. You know, like, I don't think we need cable anymore. And like the house, you know, they almost fell out. Like, what do you mean we don't need cable? But in the last, I guess it's been 4 years now since we've given up cable, and we just went to the Roku device. So of course we have Wi-Fi, but look how much money we have saved. And so, I know when you suggest things, you know, like, this is what's best for us, I think, or let's just try it. It kind of, for me, it kind of works out. But if you can just talk to the audience about some of the areas that were really hard, you know, for you, because $10,000 was a significant amount of money to save. That's like, it's boss.
Yes. So you know, $10,000, that surprised us. I'm not even going to hold you. It really surprised us the first time we did it. We've done it twice already. So the first time we did it, it was such a shocker, but I will give you a very old scenario and then I'll bring you up to speed to a new scenario. So an old scenario was when my husband and I were dating. We weren't married yet. We were just dating. And I was full steam ahead budget. You already know who the practical peanut butter is. I'm an accountant. There's no. We sticking to this budget. My husband is like, oh no, God will provide. I'm like, oh no. We gonna give God his, he gonna provide, and we gonna stick to this budget. So he bought a tablet without speaking to me. We were already talking marriage at this time. And the tablet was maybe $150. And I was like, what? Why did you buy that? You have enough electronic devices. Why do you need that? And he was like, because I wanted it. I was like, well, you could have bought groceries with that. Like, you could have replenished something in here or paid the electric or something. Like, really? That's not a necessity. And he was like, he was so taken aback by the fact that I challenged him on his purchase. And so at that point, it was like, we going, and so we had to, in this event, hunker down and come up with a threshold that we would feel comfortable with. Yes. Of spending without consulting one another.
Yes.
So at that point, I'm like, we need to come in under that tablet because you don't need the. So we were very new in things. So we started at $100. And I'm like, wow, now what can you get for $100, right? So it's definitely raised our threshold has been raised since then. So, but that was a key moment where we came together instead of fighting about it all the time. We came together, we agreed upon, what exactly the threshold would be, and we stuck with it. And then when there were purchases that we knew that we needed, we just talked. I think communication is key. And so sometimes when I do my budget check-in, this is the budget check-in. I'm going to let you see that. This is me writing all my feelings down about where did I have the most trouble this month and why in my budget? What action steps can I take to improve my trouble areas and help me stick to my financial plan? What goals can I set to attack my areas of weakness and become consistent in my budgeting? So listen, this is not just something that I have been doing. I still fall short. I have a jar on my desk over here. It says retail therapy fund. And I put money in it because I need my retail therapy. So that was the old scenario. The new scenario that we are going after right now is we have expenses that we don't need. But we have them because of other people in the family. Like my mom, she definitely needs TV. So instead of we didn't have cable and now we do. And I'm just like, we got to find another way. I can't, like, I want to pay down some things. And so we're just going back and forth. It's not a lot of friction. It's just like finding that thing that's in the marketplace that can accommodate the family at a very, at a frugal price, so to speak. So right now, ain't nothing frugal. In the area that we live in, we don't have the big conglomerate Comcast here, so it's a little bit more expensive. But we're working it out. It's not friction, it's unity.
Nice. One of the things that you said about retail therapy, I was watching one of the reality TV hosts, and she did like a haul for like a quarantine haul. And when you were talking, I was thinking about how, and you probably could speak to this too, how the quarantine, you really had to hunker down with discipline. With discipline, like we don't need this, because what happened is now you had all of this time, you had Facebook, Instagram, everything, and all of the ads are coming at you. You've seen things that you've never seen before. Some people were out of work and some people were not. So the next retail therapy was, let me buy things to make me feel better, because this is a very difficult time and I need something to make me feel better. So I want to show you one thing. This is my retail therapy.
Okay, let's see it.
It's not a it's a thing. So, but this is can you see? Yes.
There it is.
Yes. And if you look in the back, can you see in the back with that green and pink puffy thing over there on the table?
Oh, yes.
There's more
pens in
yes. So in every time, and it's funny, but it's what I call what do you call it, a reasonable purchase. But like every now and then I'm like, oh, I just need some pens. That's my thing to make me feel, you know what I mean? It's my thing. But it's like, like $10, that's not justifiable retail therapy, so we don't get into trouble. But one of the things you said about communication, do you feel that in marriage, and I know one of the things I want to speak to is that we're married, so with the conversation you have accountability big time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for us over the years, there's a trust factor like never before. When
Mm-hmm.
you can, when you can, I want to, I'm thinking about, buying this. What do you think? And everything is talked about. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's another level of trust. But what do you give to the single woman? Because this is a hunker down time too. And what I'm noticing too, the single woman right now in the pandemic can get in trouble because we can hunker down and we have this mate and we don't have to go everywhere.
Yeah.
We don't need to do a whole bunch of stuff because we have like our best friend in the house, where the single person
Mm-hmm.
still has, I need to go out because this is driving me crazy, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And all of this stuff. So speak to this single woman right now.
I think that I'm going to say on two fronts, because when I was single, being a single person, I think you have to hunker down more so because it's just you, right? And if you have children, um, you are the sole caretaker for them and provider. And so you have to really, really flow in a mindset of, this is what I got to do. And again, it's a mindset. It is not something that you it's something that can be developed, but it's something that you have to keep your mind on at all times.
Okay.
Um, so to me, I would say for a single person, the accountability is, you have to be comfortable with allowing someone outside of your circle outside of like your home, a friend, maybe even a family member, to be your accountability, to be able to say, you really don't need that, right?
You're doing too much.
You're doing way too much. Like you don't need that. Like, what are you even doing? Nah, that's not what we doing. You come over here, let's chill, have some coffee, talk it out, get your feelings out on the table. But it's the ability to give somebody the right to check you, because if you don't give them that right, you can tell them every time they come for you, you'll knock them down, and you'll go out and do what you want to do. You'll go out and do what you want to do. You'll go out and do what you want to do. And so this other person that you said you was giving them accountability to tell you some things, they're like, well, you don't listen to me anyway, so what's the point?
Right, right, right,
So
right.
then it goes back to, if you're not going to allow somebody to check you on what you're doing and be the accountability, then you have to have the willpower and the strength. It's a made up mind. I'm telling you, once you have your mind made up to do anything, you can accomplish it. Whatever your mind can see, you can achieve, because it's the same. It's no different than in weight loss.
Yeah, yeah,
If you're ready and your mind is made up, you're going to go for it. You're going to do it, and can't nobody stop you. You will stop yourself.
yeah,
If you are ready to be successful in your finances and you're ready to really make a change and hunker down in your budget, nobody will need to check you. You will check yourself.
yeah.
Nobody needs to check you. And that leads me to just thinking about when I was single. Oh my gosh, bills got to be paid. My son had to be taken care of. Nobody had to tell me what to do or how to do. Or I did my retail therapy. I'm not going to hold you, but I put that retail therapy in my budget.
Okay, okay.
Put it as a line item in your budget. If
Yeah,
you cannot check yourself, put it in to your budget. Everything can be budgeted. You do not have to go without.
hmm,
If you budget it, then you're not going without. It's in your budget and you can justify that. But it can't be all the time. It's not I need retail therapy every week.
um, this is segues into. I have just two more questions, and then we'll um get ready to close out. You just said it. putting it into your budget. So one of the conversations that we had, I was telling Brandy that I redid my office. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm still doing it over. One of the things, when I was younger, just to give you guys just a little bit, I did what I had to do because I had 3 kids. Some of that time single, some of that time married, all that good stuff. I had to learn how to do a lot. You just get to a point where you are frustrated. You've accomplished a lot, but things are just as insanity. So you need to come up with new ways. One of the things that we do in the Social Girl for God group, and Brandy would get on with me early in the morning, and some others we would do like decluttering. So we would do hour, 2 hours, and it's just your time to focus on email, the mail. I call it the mail monster. Um, um, Going through your mail, whatever you had to do for that hour, 2 hours, that was our accountability to get that done. And for me, that's because too many times, and you spoke to it kind of, or you made me think about it. When you were talking about budgeting, is that when you keep looking at things and you're not paying attention to it, and you talked about the follow-up when you make sure you pay bills. Okay, so you just automatically think that you paid this bill, and next thing you know, you got a letter that said it's due, and you're like, what? I paid it. And the response came in the mail. That's why I'm like, oh man, like, no way. I have to, you know what I mean? I have to go through the mail and make sure stuff is free. Also, when you go through the mail too, that's giving you stuff still, the bills still come, in the mail. The stuff is in your head, but it's on the paper. So that keeps it in front of you, so you keep the budget. But in doing the office over, this is where I started, I didn't want to spend house money or, our money. Like, I didn't want to do that. I'm real different this way now. It's like, how can I flip what I already have?
Yes.
And so we have so much stuff here, and it's 14 years worth of stuff that it's just too much. And we're going to this place where it seems like minimalism, like we don't need all of this stuff. So I started saying, you know what, I'm going on the marketplace and getting rid of stuff. And so every time I make, I don't know, 10, 20, whatever, that money goes back. And that was my money to not take out of the regular money or budget to do what I wanted to do. I just flip that money and put it back into what I want. So Brandy had mentioned this no buy July.
Yes. No buy July.
No buy in July. So tell us no buy in July.
So No Buy July came about because I was sick to death of my own self spending all this money on planner supplies. Okay. I was just sick. I was stalking some Facebook person about a planner cover that I didn't need and I don't even use today. And it cost me a lot of money. And I was just sick because I fell down the rabbit hole of the newest thing. Every time a sticker book came out, every time a planner came out, I was running to Michael's, running to Joann's, running to Hobby Lobby to get these planner supplies. And so I was like, I can't do this anymore. So we're going to do a No Buy July. Now, mind you, my husband's birthday is in July and my birthday is in August. So we definitely couldn't do a No Buy August.
Not at all.
No, we couldn't do that. So we planned to do a No Buy July, and it was so awesome because I did not spend any money on planner supplies. So No Buy July basically means you don't buy anything that is not a necessity or that is already planned out, like preceding this, right? So my husband, we had already paid for some things for his birthday prior to, but I'm telling you, we went in hardcore for No Buy July. And I'm talking about, we went to the movies for free off of tickets that we had on Groupon from, I don't even know, like months ago. We went to, it's called Farm Burger here And if you join their app, they give you a $9 gift card, and their burgers are $9. So we got burgers for free. And then we went to the coffee house in the morning. We just sat there. We had a gift card at the coffee house. We sat at the lake and we just enjoyed each other's company there. And then we had our planned stuff that I had paid for prior to July. So his birthday was essentially free. And at the end of No Buy July, when you don't eat out, when you don't buy planner supplies, when you don't spend extra money that you do not need to spend, you come up with a whole lot of money. And let me tell you guys, I saved $141 on planner supplies alone. Just planner supplies. So what? You're spending $141 a month on planner supplies? Who does that? Nobody. Who does that? Okay, so that $141 started to go into our house fund.
Yeah. So
every month we started to put that money into the house fund. And I'm telling you, when you start to self-sacrifice and say, I'm sick of my own self. I'm sick of myself with all this stuff. I don't need all this stuff. What do I need all this stuff for? I haven't gone on the vacation that I want, or, I haven't made memories with my family, the things that I really want to do. I haven't, I'm renting. I don't have a house of my own, or, I need a new car and I'm running around in this car that keep breaking down. Like, you got to be able to say, listen, no buy July.
You sound, when you just said I'm sick of myself, it made me think of rock bottom. That's when people usually make changes.
Yes.
Do you do No Buy July every year? Now, is it a thing?
Yes, every year. No Buy July. I'm sorry, husband. But because we do it, we pre-plan ahead, so we're not spending in July. That's the beauty of having a budget. You can pre-plan ahead and buy things ahead of time so that you are really true to your goal of no buy July.
I'm trying to think. I was sitting there thinking of another month that rhymes with July so he could move.
I know. So he could get something for his birthday. Wait, well, you could do no spend. I don't know. Any month is a good month to save money. That's what I say. We'll try it in August, see what happens.
I have one more question for you. I want to read a quote, and then you can. I want you guys to stay in contact with Brandy. Oh, I know. Well, I have two questions. Oh, doggone. Listen, one thing that you said, I was taking notes over here, like it's not my page, and I can't go back and watch the video. One thing that you said was the vision casting in November, and I know what that looks like. And then you said the 90 days, 90 to 120 days. So when do you start? Because if you vision cast in November, when do you actually start looking at tracking those your finances? Because December and January is hard. That was my thought. I was like, wait a minute, she can't start until when? February, January 15th? When you starting?
We start January 1st. So when we are vision casting in November, it's for 2021, the full year. So in 2020, we'll be vision casting this month for all of 2021. In 2019, we did the same thing. And so we cover the full year, and then we start hitting the ground running on January 1st. And everybody at that time is ready to budget because of all the money that they spent over the holidays. I think, however, this year is going to be very different.
Yes.
And so another thing that if I might segue into a program that we're going to be doing, which helps. It's called the New Normal, New Net Worth, and it's going to launch November 20th. It's our early bird access, and it's going to be for all of 2021. And our maximum is 100 participants. And what we're doing is, I told you that we saved $10,000 two times. We're going to run the program for a third time because we just purchased our house this year, a few months ago. So that savings that we had saved was all for the house. So now we want to run it through again. And
Right.
so we want to have people join us in this program to be able to save the most money that they have ever saved. And no, it doesn't have to be $10,000. It could be whatever number you want to hit. And I just wanted to tell you some of the items that the program is going to consist of. It's going to be, you're going to get the Family Life Budget Financial Planner, access to our private Facebook group. We analyze your net worth. We get you submit a savings submittal so that you will be able to stay true to what you said you wanted to save. We're going to have monthly finance themes to organize your financial life. We're going to have monthly budget with me's in a group session so that you can be accountable to have at least your monthly budget done. We are then going to do a 90-day financial review and goal setting forward to the next 90 days. So every quarter, we will review our finances and make sure that we're sticking to our game plan. We're going to have bi-weekly live check-ins. We're going to have savings challenges. We're going to have quarterly speakers that will cover topics like goal setting, small business startup, credit, debt management, empowerment, purpose, so many things that we have on the schedule, so much more, just to be able to hold people accountable to what their financial plan is. We're going to have accountability from our collective masterminds, which will include focus groups, motivation, success stories, workshops where we do project DIYs to keep you organized, not only in your finances, but organized in your home, organized with meal planning, just so many things that will save you money in the long run. And then bonus, the thing that you were talking about, we'll offer our Budget My Life Masterclass, which helps us to set up our financial planner in detail for the year. So it's quite a lot that we're going to be offering this program for. And I'll just let you know, the early bird access is going to start, I said, November 20th through December 12th. And it's going to be at $99. The weekend of Black Friday, we're offering 15% off. So it'll be around $85. And then if you use the code NETWORTH, if you want to change your net worth, it's time. It's time to join this movement because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And either way, we need to be more proactive in our own financial journey, and we can't wait for somebody to do it for us. So we want to help people. I think that all that we're going to be doing, $99 is a very good rate. And then after December the 12th, it will be $199. So it's a huge savings if you get it early. Yeah. And 100 participants is our maximum, but we are excited to see some savers in the building that are going to change their net worth, because can you imagine what could $10,000 do for somebody? I mean, it could pay off my car right now.
Yeah. I will tell you really quick. During the pandemic, it has been a blessing to me. So I am in a nice place. Mm-hmm. And I like being in a nice place. Like I like it.
I like it. Yes.
I really love it. And another thing, during this time, I have been. One of the things I prayed about was asking God for my integrity. I think I shared that with you. My integrity, things that I may have owed, bills, or a person, or just stuff that I just couldn't do because it was so tight. And so I'm like, Lord, how am I going to do this? You know, my integrity is at stake. And so during this time, I didn't like, I have a sticky in one of my notebooks of just things that I'm supposed to pay, right? Not these are not cable and electric. These are like, you know, things.
Yeah.
Little by little, I'm just like, this is taken care of. This is taken care of. So I hear you saying the word self-sacrifice. It is, I can tell you, and I'll read some of the comments, how a blessing, it's been a blessing, and you don't know how God is going to bless you. So in your right, in your faithfulness, and we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. And I'll just give you guys some of this too. Today, we have more hunker down calls. We don't know what tomorrow brings, but I thought it was very important to get Brandy to do this call. Like, I was adamant, but hey, Brandy, you think we could do this on the 1st or the 2nd before things go a different way? Because at least you guys would have this information, and think about, hey, I heard Brandy say this, and I'm gonna get myself together, and I'm gonna start hunkering down and really looking at the things. You know, one of the things that we start cutting down we didn't need Netflix. We didn't need I'm always looking at things to shave down. I don't want that anymore. And the thing is, because I want to put the money in other things like this. That's going to edify the body, you know, the body of Christ. So when you start doing that, then God brings it back to you. So instead of your retail therapy always being about you and it being about somebody else, then the Lord is like, listen.
He opened up a doorway, right?
Let me go give her some of that, because she's not keeping it for herself. She's giving it to somebody else. The fulfillment in that is, I got the scripture. It's the hope deferred makes the heart sick. But then the next part talks about, but something about the desire fulfilled is like the tree of life. That's not my exact book, but go Google it. I want to, Brandy gave you all of the information. I want to read you guys this quote, and then I have one more question, and then we'll close out. Let me give you some comments. Professional Tour 77 says, LOL, you put that well, Miss Thompson. And then Claudia Kramer, she said, loving the chat, Rhonda and Brandy. And Professional Tours, again, said, it does create discipline and consistency. I think that was something that we was talking about.
We were talking about at that time.
Yeah. So right before we got on, I ran into this thing that I'm watching that I'm not done watching, and it's a quote, and he read it, and I was like, oh, this goes to what we're talking about. Why such a stern warning is what it says. He said, be determined never to incur another debt. Deny yourself 1,000 things rather than run in debt. Avoid it as you would the smallpox. Make a solemn covenant with God that by his blessing you will pay your debts and then owe no man anything. If you live on porridge and bread, deny your taste. Deny the indulgence of appetite. Save your pence and pay your debts. Work them off as fast as possible. And when you can stand forth a free man again, owing no man anything, you will have achieved a great victory. That was by Ellen G. White. It's out of the Councils of Stewardship, page 257. But I happened to just I was like, oh, okay. This is this right here is for the call. So we thank you so much, Brandy, for all of the information. But I have one last question. I told you guys that our hunker down is really important right now during this time. And Brandy mentioned tomorrow, at 12 o'clock, right? Midnight tomorrow, the world could be up in arms. And so we'll be in a place of, we don't know what will happen. And I thought about, I told Brandy, I said I was asked to speak at this church back like last June. And it was about the Proverbs 31 woman. And I felt like I didn't relate to her.
Mm-hmm.
But then actually when I thought about everything, I was like, I get her. I get her. And I think about the Proverbs 31, or I thought about it often during this time, because it talks about she did this and she did this. She's up early in the morning. She's, out in the what do you call it, in the field and doing this for her husband. And I was like, listen, she do too much. Because nobody was talking about, does the proverb, because this was in my message, does this chick have to deal with our families that I had going on at the time? I was like sick family members going back and forth.
Yes.
Have to deal. You don't hear nothing about all of the back stuff.
Right.
It just seemed like she just was doing everything.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you is, what do you think the Proverbs 31 woman would be doing right now? And that's just putting you in her shoes for a couple of seconds.
I think that she would be praying. She would be asking God what it is in her hands that she could do to be able to make the change noticeable in her sphere of influence. What could she bring to the table in order to be able to be the agent of change? Because we cannot rely upon the world and our political leaders. I think she would be praying to God for them, but she would also be praying to God, how can she be the change that needs to be seen in her community, in her family, in her sphere of influence? I think that she would then, hear God's wisdom and move upon his word. And that's what we all can do, right? We all can only do what God has purposed in us to do. And as we do that, abide in him, he fuels us with how we are to be unleashed, propelled into what area of the kingdom he wants to advance through us at that time. We can't change everything. We can do what he has purposed us to do in our corner of the world. And so I believe that she would be praying like, Lord, this is something else that's going on down here. Mm-hmm. And I need your wisdom, your guidance, and your leadership so that after I get done on my knees as your priest, I can go out into the kingdom and slay.
Okay, there it is. I told my granddaughter, all right, raise your hand. That was beautifully said. All right. We want to thank you so much, Brandy. We want to thank you so much for coming along with us, seeing the vision, grabbing on to hunkering down. I pray, I'm always praying for you all. That you take this message and that you I said to one of our close friends about this hunker down, and I said, I don't know if they'll get it because it just seems out there. But she said, if the Lord told you to do it, go ahead and do it. So I held on to this for a while, but I just couldn't let it go. So then I was like, once I create the graphic, then I have to put it, that's my accountability to myself. Yes. Put it into motion. But Brandy just grabbed it in such a way. I hope that you all grab it, like to hunker down and it just means to like focus, and just like you said, to be sick of yourself. that's what I think about. Like when you like, you know what, I gotta get my stuff together. I'm doing too much. You know what I mean? And I gotta go through the mail and I gotta pay this bill and I have to call them and I have to deal
Yes.
with it and conquer it and there's more that we have with Hunker Down. We have a guest on marriage and just some other areas that I know are going to be beneficial to you all. But I thought that this would be important first, just because, just in case something transpires, I've been on the wall about it. You have this information. So, Brandy, we thank you. You want to say any last words before we go?
Well, thank you so much for having me, Rhonda. I mean, this is so very near and dear to my heart. I am going to be watching with my popcorn for this series, honey. I am so glad that I was able to be on here to be able to share my heart with the people. I love finance. I mean, I just love it. I think that it is a game changer for everybody when they catch hold of it. And so I'm praying that you guys will catch hold of the vision here with RnB Collective. Just so you guys know, and I'm sure Rhonda has posted our information, but we are on Instagram at RnB Collective, and we're on Facebook at the same RnB Collective, and also YouTube. We do some YouTubing to just help you guys get your financial lives and do some projects to show you how you can hunker down and DIYs. So I'm just so thankful for being here. Look for us if you want to join our new network, new normal program. Please reach out to me. I'm Brandy Thompson on Facebook as well, and we can walk through it, together. We want to be the accountability so that we can be the change we want to see, especially with what's coming tomorrow.
You got it. Professional Tour 77 said, here, so she's still here. Thank you all for joining us tonight on this call. We'll have more to come. And just to give you one more thing, please share this link. And we have a giveaway this month. These tabs are beautiful. I am so serious about my Bible. My Bible is in the other room because I read this morning. But one of the things, if I can just say really quick, is that we've been doing church and God for a really long time. And a lot of times we don't open up the word, right? So, and I'm not talking about app. I'm talking about this. I'm doing this. And, hey.
Yes.
And we're doing this as Leviticus and Psalms and and Numbers, and knowing where it's at and not forgetting that, because that was something that I had to learn for me. And I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose, knowing where the books are. So in our group, Simply Study, we are doing a giveaway, but it's on all of our social media sites too. Instagram, where I Simply Love Her. All of our information is on our page. But make sure that you share the video. Just tell somebody, hey, go subscribe to her YouTube channel, because she's giving away these wonderful Bible tabs this lady makes. They are beautiful. And we're going to let the person who wins this actually pick the ones they want. I just showed you a picture, but I want you to me, I feel like your Bible is like that accessory,
Yes.
like
An extension of you.
Yes. This is like, girl, like our glasses, our earrings, my Bible, you know what I mean?
Yes. Come on. Come through with the Bible tabs, please.
So we want you to never forget, once you put them Bible tabs on, that you go through and be like, girl, I'm going to go read because I got some new, just like your retail, I got some new Bible tabs.
Yes.
Yeah. So we are going to go. We thank you guys so much for being on the call. Or live tonight. Brandy was awesome. This will be up in all of our groups, and make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much. You guys have a good night. As always, we say with our Social Go for God, make sure that everything that you do is for the glory of God, and use it for social evangelism. This message will stay up on YouTube as long as they will allow us to, and it may bless lives that we will never know about. And that is what we're supposed to do. So you guys
Awesome.
best. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Take care. Thanks, Brandy.
Oh, thank you so much.